G'day guys, welcome to another video. My name is Vinny and you are watching V-Ride. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you about the 5 ways you can avoid motorcycle theft. Alright guys, the first thing I want to talk to you about is motorcycle theft is, no matter how much you try and lock your bike or save your bike, if the thieves have decided that they are going to steal your bike, they will bloody find a way to do it. Unless your bike is absolutely locked inside a garage, inside your home, your living room, or your man cave, or whatever you want to call it. But if your bike is on the road and the thieves have decided that they're going to pick up your bike, they will find a way to do it. But all we're trying to do is make it more difficult for thieves to steal your bike. Make it lesser of a target. That's all we're trying to achieve. The first thing you want to do is, guys, lock your bike. I know it is very, very simple, but oh, look at that car. That's beautiful. The first thing you want to do is you lock your bike. I've seen so many riders, some of my friends including, they go to shops or whatever, or even to restaurants, and they just turn their ignition off, and they don't actually lock the handle. You know how easy it is to roll your bike out without actually starting it. It's really easy, guys. So lock your bike, lock the actual front fork with your bike keys. That's the easiest thing that you can do to help save your bike from any theft. But locking your bike is not enough. You're gonna need some different locks. So what I used to do is, guys, I was living in an area which was not that great. I mean, the area was great, but it was notorious for break-ins and all that sort of stuff. So what I used to do is I used to chain my bike with a heavy-duty chain, and then sort of have one of the pillars of the building as an anchor. I mean, that chain cost me a bomb. It was a heavy-duty chain. It was expensive, but I love my bike more than anything else. So I thought, it is a good investment. And so I decided to chain my bike to the actual post, like a structural pillar of the building. I never put the chain in my front or the rear wheel. I always put it through the actual frame, which makes it a lot harder for the thieves to steal the bike. And the other thing I used to do is I had disc locks. So I had a front disc lock, I had a back disc lock, and both the disc locks were actually different. So yes, I did have a lot of keys, but like I said, I loved my bike more than anything else, so I wanted to protect it, especially when it was parked overnight. So I had a front disc lock, which, like a normal disc lock, and the back disc lock was actually a, like a bike lock that I sort of put through my frame and the disc. So it was quite a bit of a job for me to actually start my bike in the morning, because I had to open all these locks. But it also meant that I was sort of satisfied. I knew that my bike will not be as big a target as the other bikes without these sort of locks. Alright, the second thing I want to talk about is cover your bike. Especially if you are parking your bike in an open area overnight, just cover it. Because if the thieves can't see your bike, chances are that they will not be interested in picking it up. It's the same concept to when you must have seen the signs in the parking lot when don't leave your valuables in your car, or put it under the seat or whatever. The idea is to basically hide it. So by sort of putting a cover on your bike, you are making, the thieves are going to make an effort to actually go and remove the cover and look at your bike and see whether they are interested in it or not. Whereas they can easily go to someone else's bike and pick that bike because they can see it. They know exactly what the bike is, and it becomes a bigger target for them. Bigger target. So the whole idea of avoiding theft is to make your bike a lesser target. So the third thing I want to talk to you about is GPS trackers. So guys, install a GPS tracker in your bike. So in case your bike gets stolen, you can actually track it. I personally don't have one in my bike just yet, but I have ordered one. It's on its way. I'm going to install that, and it's really easy. You can connect it with your battery. You can put it under your seat and hide it. Track your bike's movement through an app on your phone. So again, that sort of things, thieves will not know whether your bike has got a GPS tracker or not. But again, if it does get stolen, it'll help you to track it. It'll help the police investigators to sort of find your bike easily. Alright guys, the fourth thing I want to talk to you about is having an alarm in your bike. Having a physical alarm in your bike is actually going to be a very, very good deterrent for the thieves. So usually what people do is either they have immobilizers and alarms in their bike, or what you can do is you can buy a disc lock which has already got an alarm in it. So as soon as you try and move your bike, the alarm will go off. And there are disc locks that you can get with over 120 decibels of sound. I mean, that's massive. Now, I know some of you will sort of say that, the alarms in this modern day, no one actually cares about the alarms. And I know that, guys. I know, there's been so many times we've been in a parking lot and someone's car just, starts beeping. And you actually don't even bother looking at what's happening in that car. Forget about actually going in and sort of checking it out. You don't even look. People have now got used to the sound of the alarm so much that it just doesn't bother them. However, if there is an alarm on your bike, it is likely that the thieves are going to freak out. It's going to put them in a stressful sort of a mindset, and they may just leave it as is and go and look for an easier target. Alright guys, the last thing you can do, there are so many things, but last thing in this video that you can do to avoid motorcycle theft is to put a kill switch in your bike. It's very simple. You can either take your bike to your local mechanic and just ask them to put a kill switch. Now this switch over there is an engine kill switch. It's got two wires going all the way down and connected to the battery. And all they need to do is just find the wires and put a switch, which will pretty much act the same as this switch. Now again, that's something that is not available in my bike. I haven't done it, but I do plan to do it. But what I used to do instead of having a kill switch is I used to actually take my seat out and find the fuse box and take the ignition fuse out. Now, this is something that I only used to do when I was actually leaving my bike for a few days, and when I was going on a holiday or whatever, I just usually just take the fuse switch out, the ignition fuse out, and by doing that, the thieves may not be able to start the bike, and they may think the battery's dead or whatever, and may go and find an easier target. I don't do that just to my bike. I do it with my cars as well. And yeah, so far it has worked. My cars are parked outside. I usually park my bike in the garage now. I have moved away from that area that I was talking to you earlier. So now I've got a house where I've got a locked up garage, and I usually park my bike in the garage. All right. I guess one last thing I want to talk to you about is, guys, if your bike gets stolen, you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan in place of what you are going to do, because it is quite overwhelming and an emotional thing for your bike to get stolen, or anything of yours to get stolen. I mean, not long ago, my friend had a break-in in their house, and they were absolutely shattered. The thieves, they didn't actually take a lot of items from their house, but it's like invading their personal space. So obviously there's a lot of emotions that are sort of attached to that. So you need to have a plan in place if your bike does get stolen, and you can make that plan simply by getting a good insurance that covers motorcycle theft, and yeah, and talking to your partner or your friends about it, uh, you know, and just letting them know that this is what you have in place. So because when your items get stolen, when you are going through an emotional phase, you may not remember um, to do the things the way you planned them to do. But if you've already spoken to your friends, then they can sort of prompt you to do the right things. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you liked today's video, and if you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you later guys. Keep safe, drive safe, and ride safe.